The tool you're trusting with your work will look you straight in the eye and lie to you, not by accident. It will state something completely false with total confidence. It won't flinch because it has no idea it's wrong. Today, I'll show you the one simple thing every AI model is actually doing under the hood. That one thing guarantees it sometimes makes stuff up. And this isn't a glitch, it's built in. On this show, we take the words flying around your meetings and turn them into something you can actually use. No code, no jargon dump, just the real thing, explained straight. The word today is LLM, Large Language Model. It's the engine behind ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, and the AI features popping up in your everyday work tools. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what it's doing, why it sometimes invents facts that sound perfect but are completely wrong, and you will know how to tell when to trust it and when to check. So let's open it up. First, the one job this thing actually does. Second, why that job means it sometimes lies with a straight face. Third, the uncomfortable reason nobody's fully fixed it and won't anytime soon. Here's the part that surprised almost everyone. After all the hype, all the talk of artificial intelligence reasoning and thinking, underneath a large language model does exactly one thing. It predicts the next word. That's it. You give it some text and it works out the most statistically likely word to come next. Then it adds that word, looks at everything so far and predicts the next one. Then the next, one word at the time, it builds an entire answer. A paragraph, an email, a block of working code, just by repeatedly answering the question. Given everything written so far, what word most likely comes next? How does it know what's likely? Because it was trained on an almost unimaginable amount of text, trillions of words from books, websites, articles, conversations. It read all of it and adjusted itself billions of times to get better and better at one task, predicting what comes next. After enough of that, the patterns it absorbed are so rich that predicting the next word that look like genuine understanding. Ask for the capital of France and Paris is by far the most likely next word. And that's exactly what you get back. Here's the part that matters most, because it's the key to everything that follows. The model is not looking up facts. It has no list of true statements stored inside it. It's not checking anything against reality. It is producing the words most likely to follow your words. When the truth happens to be the most likely thing to say, which thankfully is a lot of time, you get a correct answer. The accuracy is a side effect. The actual job is prediction. Once you understand that, the model's confident wrong answers stop being mysterious. They become unavoidable. So what happens when you ask about something the model doesn't have strong patterns for? Now ask it for the birthday of a person who's barely mentioned anywhere online. There is no strong pattern. The model doesn't have a stored fact to retrieve, and this is the crucial part. It has no internal signal that says, I don't actually have this. So it does the only thing it ever does. It predicts likely looking words. A birthday has a month, a day, a year. So it produces a plausible looking date, a specific one. That's a hallucination, the industry's word for when a model produces something that sounds completely plausible and is completely false. And notice what caused it. Nothing broke. The model did its job perfectly. It predicted plausible words. The problem is that plausible and true are not the same thing. And the model can't tell the difference because it was never checking the true in the first place. It was only ever checking probability. This is why the confidence is so dangerous. A person who doesn't know something usually sounds unsure. They hesitate. They say, I think. The model doesn't do that in the same way. The made-up birthday and the real capital come out with the exact same process, with the same smooth, assured tone. So here's the obvious question. We've got this technology for years now. The companies building it are some of the richest on the earth. Why haven't they just fixed it? Here's the part that doesn't make it onto marketing slides. In 2025, OpenAI, the maker of ChatGPT, published research on exactly this question. And their answer was uncomfortable. Models make things up because the way they are trained and graded actively rewards guessing over honesty. Think about how these models are tested. They are run through huge sets of questions and scored on how many they get right. Now, what happens when the model is unsure? If it guesses, it might be right and score a point. If it says, I don't know, it scores nothing. So across millions of practice questions, a model that always takes a guess will outscore a model that ever admits uncertainty. The training process notices that, and it quietly teaches the model the lessons built in those rules. Never say you don't know. That's the trap. We build scoreboards that punish honesty, run the models against them millions of times, and they learned to do the thing that wins. Sound confident, always. The researchers showed something even more striking. Even if you somehow train one of these models on perfect, error-free data, it would still hallucinate because the objective is optimized for produce the likely sounding answer, produces confident errors by its very nature. The making things up isn't sitting on top of the technology as a flaw to be patched off. It's woven into the way the thing learns. Now, this is getting better. Newer models hallucinate noticeably less than the ones from a couple of years ago, and the fix the researchers point to is almost funny in how obvious it is. Start rewarding the model for saying, I'm not sure, when it isn't. For now, and for the foreseeable future, you should assume the AI you're using can do this to you in your work on the exact question you most need to get right. So, back to that unsettling opening. The tool will lie to your face and not flinch. Now you know why. It isn't malfunctioning when it does that. It's doing the one thing it always does, predicting plausible words. It has no stored facts, no source of truth, and no inner sense of its own certainty. The smooth confidence you hear is just the sound of the machine working exactly as designed.